Former Congressman George Santos speaking to a crowd of reporters outside of court after his guilty plea.
I understand that there are legal consequences for my actions, and I accept them fully.
The embattled Republican, who became the first sitting member of Congress to be booted from office by his own colleagues in more than 20 years, pleaded guilty to 2 charges: wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. This after federal prosecutors indicted Santos on dozens of charges. While throughout his legal woes, Santos defiantly maintained he was the victim of political prosecution, today he showed a different side.
It's clear to me now that I allowed ambition to cloud my judgment, leading me to make decisions that were unethical.
George Santos stood in the courthouse right behind me and finally, under oath, told the truth.
A virtual unknown, Santos rode a Republican wave into office in 2022 with a resume that was built on lies. He bragged about cutting million-dollar business deals that didn't exist and boasted about being a star volleyball player, a sport he never played. A scathing House ethics report accused Santos of deceiving his donors and using campaign cash to fund his lavish lifestyle.
Congressman, what do you say to your constituents?
Excuse me. You guys got to get out of my way.
But despite the embarrassing public spectacle, Santos refused to go away quietly. He was active on social media and sold hundreds of short, personalized videos to fans on Cameo.
Let's talk about Botox for a second.
Santos is scheduled to be sentenced in February. He faces a minimum of at least 2 years in prison, but could face up to 22 years behind bars. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.